book of Joel is one of the most dreadful accounts of prophecy in the Old Testament. In fact, in this short 4-chapter book, we see a heavy weight of judgment coming upon Judah. This is written in about 840 to 800 BC, and the word Joel means Yahweh is God. And this means that God is the judge. God is not only one that created Israel and Judah, but he is the one that would judge them for their acts. I want to show you some very important aspects of Joel. The first is the audience. Who is God talking to? Who is responsible for the sin of Israel and Judah? Well, the first thing we see in verse 2 of chapter 1, hear this, O elders. God is holding the leadership accountable, saying it has been your responsibility to train the next generation in righteousness, and you have failed in that. But then he's going to systematically walk through that everyone is guilty. He says in verse 5, awake, O drunkards, and weep. So there are those who are living in debauchery, not caring about the things of the Lord. But then he's going to say, as he continues, verse 9, mourn, O priest, and ministers mourn, because they have not been living in righteousness. They've been stealing from the people and living according to their own laws and rules. He says, be ashamed, O farmers, those who are hard workers and giving out their produce. They were not living according to God. Every single person is guilty before God. And instead of stopping in chapter 1 with just dread and a curse, God says, here's what I want you to do. Listen to verse 14. Consecrate a fast. Proclaim a solemn assembly. Gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land to the house of the Lord your God and cry out to the Lord. What God does is he not only gives the symptoms and the promise that this illness and disease was going to bring about devastation, but he gives a cure. He says, set yourself apart, proclaim a fast, and turn back to me. Now, he's going to, in chapter 2 and 3, give the vision of judgment. He's going to talk about locusts that would come, whether that be physical locusts for the grain and the harvest, or this is a spiritual picture of armies that would come in and take over the land. I personally believe it's both. And it will devastate the nation of Judah. But God declares that Judah will stand strong one day. And this is where we see the hope of the gospel, that even though judgment comes, joy can come in the morning when we trust Jesus. He says, proclaim the fast, turn to me. How do we do that? Well, we trust and turn our eyes on Jesus. And when that takes place, even the harshest judgment can be taken on by Christ on the cross, and we can receive a robe of righteousness and the reward of everlasting life. Joel points us to Jesus.